This is Gam Chat. My name is Greg.
I'm McCoy.
And I'm D.
We're three Filipino gay guys trying to make sense of anything and everything in the world today. Welcome to our podcast. Trigger warning. This episode contains discussions of self-harm and suicide. Listener discretion is advised. So this is our QUEERies episode. We are answering your questions. In this episode, we call You've Got QUEERies.
QUEERies.
Okay, you guys, we gotta say that together at least one time. That was... I don't understand this. It's literally like, You've Got QUEERies. How come we can't say this together? All right.
We have more chances. It's okay.
I hope so. I don't know after this episode we'll have more chances. So here's how our QUEERies episode works. Listeners send their queries or questions through DMs on social media, email, or anchor.fm. We pick 3 of them and we just go in on it, meaning which is that we just dissect it and your questions matter to us. So we like to spend some time with it.
Mr. Publicist McCoy, what is our first question?
So the first question is from Grace and Mimai from Wag Kang Lilingon podcast.
Ooh. Wait, what does that mean?
Don't look behind you.
Oh my God, is it scary?
Yeah, they do a horror podcast in Tagalog, so it's really fun.
When you said don't look behind you, I got triggered and I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the whole point. Because, when someone calls your name, you don't look back because you don't know what you're going to see.
Oh, hell. Or when they go like this.
Yes.
The Filipino one. Don't look back.
Yes.
It may not be your mom.
Yes. Yeah, so let's see. The first question is, how useful would you be in a zombie apocalypse? And how long do you think you'd survive?
Ooh, okay. Okay, a zombie apocalypse. There's a tons of shows. Can we just draw some kind of reference to one?
Let's do The Walking Dead or the Fear of the Walking Dead.
Okay, that world.
So they're not the aggressive ones.
I don't want the aggressive one because I would never survive.
Okay.
I love that you can pick and choose. I don't want the aggressive one. I want a nice, calm zombie. Those slow walking zombies, At the very least. Okay, I would like to go first on this one. Wait, how useful will I be in a zombie apocalypse? I feel like I would like to think I'd be useful.
I think you would be.
I think, okay, so if this is The Walking Dead,
yes.
I think I would probably be in that position of I want to be leader. I think I would take that kind of role, try to save everybody or think about people, care about people. And I think I could fight. I have that Filipino baton thing, right? That looks like a dildo, but it's not a dildo. I have that. That's my secret weapon. I think I'm pretty good at the bat. I think I'd be pretty good. And I think I would survive as long as I could possibly can for a long time until somebody overthrows me as the ruler of the colony. Okay. How about you, D?
I think I would survive and I would last pretty long. I have this thing, okay, I'm going to tangent a little bit. I have this fantasy of mine that if I had unlimited amount of money, my thing that I would want to do is buy just a store of crystals and like crystal vase, any figurine, and just go ham with a baseball bat or a golf club. I just smash everything. And I think it's because I have this thing in me that I just want to smash stuff. So I would...
Is that anger?
Yes, it is. So I'm kind of not trying not to say it, but yeah, say, it's anger.
I feel like a therapist is more in the world.
But hey, when apocalypse happened, there's no therapist. Let me go ham, right?
Okay, let's wait. Okay, hold up here. Okay, D. If I was leader of the pack, and I was you're yeah, can I smash the crystals? I'll be you're dead. I can't. I need someone to smash the heads.
No, trust me, I will be there.
He's talking about to release his frustration, so he has that, aggressiveness.
Right now, I'm holding back with crystals. But if given a chance, you don't have to be a crystal. Mm-hmm. You could be another party who's trying to invade our colony.
Yeah.
You're a crystal. There you go.
I agree. D would survive.
Oh my God, you said it for a colony. And I want to be a leader? Does that mean a colonizer?
Well.
No.
If you step in the white shoes. Oh, the right shoes. I meant the right shoes.
I hate you, D. All right, so D, you're saying that because you have a lot of frustration, anger, and you would like to break crystals, you'd also break heads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and you think you would survive pretty long?
Yeah.
He's very resourceful.
Yeah, I would say yeah, because you could cook. You're like
I'm also conniving.
you got.
He can build things.
Yeah, that's right. He could build things.
Yeah.
He could probably crochet.
I'm conniving, and I'm the one who's gonna be like whispering behind, like, "Oh my god, did you hear what she did?" And we're just gonna turn in on that person and get rid of them.
Oh my god, you're that person.
So you can, Greg, you can be up there, but I can be down here, like in the, like you can be in a pedestal, but I can be down in the crowd. Did you hear what Greg just fucking did? And like, wait,
He will overthrow you, Greg.
Yeah, I know. He
Watch
would
out.
overthrow.
He would.
Hey,
You would
I
totally
heard
overthrow.
Greg ate all the stash last week. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna like, yeah, what? Like just kind of throwing voices. That's me.
Yeah, you shady. You're so shady.
No, I'm a survivor. There's a difference.
Yes.
Damn it! Then that Destiny's Child song went in my head. I'm a survivor. Just popped up.
How about McCoy?
I've thought about this for years. This question, right?
Years?
Yeah, my brain is a little strange. So I'm like thinking, okay, if this ever happens, where do I go? Like, do I go to a police station so I can get guns, or like a military base so they can protect me? But then why would they let me in? I have no authority to go to a military base. And then a police station? I don't know. It just doesn't sound likely. So I think my best option is to go to either my brother's house or my father's house, because they have like a fenced in yard, and they have an actual yard where you can probably survive for a while, because you can, eat the fruit that's there, or, plant crops, I guess you could say, and stuff like that, right? But they have pets, so the pets will make noise, so you have to get rid of the pets first. So
McCoy just barges in and kicks dogs left and right. That's what McCoy's gonna do.
But here's the thing too. It's like, what if I can't get there because they're about 30 miles away from me? Because everyone's gonna have the same idea of like getting out of town, so it's gonna be traffic jammed all over the place. So what's my next option? I don't know. My God, because I moved like 2 years ago, so I still haven't figured out my area on what I need to do in this kind of situation.
So maybe Walmart. Find a Walmart.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's not secure though.
McCoy, they sell guns at Walmart. That's why I would go.
Not here in LA, do they?
No, they do not.
No, I can do with any kind of weapon, because, okay, I get really grossed out and I don't like blood, but I think if it comes to survival, I can fight my way through it. And I can use anything as a weapon.
I'm sorry, you fight your way through it?
Oh yeah, if someone's trying to like bite me or infect me, it's on.
I would like to see that. I don't believe that.
I just keep it on the down low, my aggression, but it's there.
You're like with D. Here's what I would probably do. I would actually team up with the preppers. You know what preppers are, right?
Yeah.
People who are prepping for the end of the world. I have a cousin. Her husband is a prepper. I would team up the people who have guns and know how to use it, and bring them into my group. And then I would go to Walmart or something, get all the medicines, like all the drugs and stuff, and then all the canned foods. Go to Costco, get all the canned foods, put it in my brother's monster truck, and then head as far away from the people as possible.
But see, Greg, okay, if this is all happening now, how can you get the truck from your brother? How can you get to Costco when everyone has the same idea? And how can you get to this place with the guns and all that and the supplies? And are they even gonna let you in?
It's called a car. Zombies don't move that fast.
But people are gonna have all the same ideas, so you have to be prepared to hunker down where you are.
But that's why I just said I would team up with the preppers immediately, because they all have the guns.
But how can you get to the prepper if there's traffic all over the place?
The preppers all have those big, giant trucks. The ones that I know.
I'm saying, how can you get from where you live to the prepper?
They're not that far.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can walk, but then that's dangerous.
No, if you have guns and stuff. Literally, McCoy, you literally just drive to your cousin's house. Like you were going to drive to your daddy's house for the fence and yard.
Well, no, that's why I said. But I have to be prepared for the scenario where I can't get there and I have to hunker down.
McCoy is already picturing the 405 is shut down because there's cars all over.
Exactly.
No one's going to take the 405.
Well, not everyone's going to know that they shouldn't take the freeway.
Really? Come on.
Well, they're trying to get out of town really quickly.
There's this app. It's like a running app. It's an
Yeah.
app that you
Oh,
play
you
with
told me
and you
about this.
run.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. It's called like something zombie.
Zombie run.
It's called zombie,
Yeah.
right? And how it works is that you turn on the app when you go running, and you put on your headphones. And when you go running, you'll hear like monsters chasing you or zombies
Yeah.
chasing you. And you literally have to run to like a safe zone, like it's X miles away. It's pretty fun, but
Yeah.
it's creepy to do it at night.
Here's my thing. Do you think you'd survive long enough to find yourself a community once this is all widespread, like the Walking Dead kind of thing?
Yes. I mean, do you?
I think I would, but I trust easily. I'm not too wary of people, so I might get taken advantage of.
Oh, yeah. Your food.
Yeah.
Your food.
Yeah.
I'm like, feed McCoy to the zombies quickly. Let's get out of here.
Oh, actually, no. You don't have to be the quickest. You just have to be quicker than the next guy.
Exactly. There's McCoy. Leave him.
Oh, no. I'm willing to break your knees to get ahead.
Wow. That's why I got my bodyguards. D, attack.
And I'm on the crowd. Greg is just gonna kill all of us. I know this.
So
what
we're
are
all
we gonna do?
doomed. We're all doomed.
So we're posting these questions ahead of time on Instagram stories. So we want to see how you guys would answer these questions. I know we got some really good ones, right, McCoy?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the first one is from Nico Nava at I am Nico Nava. So he says, I can do carpentry. Hashtag Butch Queen.
Yes. I would get a Butch Queen.
Okay, let's see. The second one is from Flo from Dubai at Flo Galindes. And he says he can cook. The third one is from Earl from Philippine Campfire Stories at the Earl of Jericho. He says, I'll be your storyteller because, there's no electricity or internet. I'll be your entertainment. Now, all these three listeners and friends, very useful skills, right? But you have to survive first. Now, the question is, can they survive the initial virus pandemic, I guess you could say, whatever it is, that causes zombies?
Well, okay. I definitely would need a cook on my team.
Yes.
Definitely need that. Depends what kind of cooking though, because you know what I'm saying. Like you gotta be like you gotta make some scraps. I make scraps
You
work.
can use like tin
are-
cans,
We on a budget. We on a budget here. And then carpentry. Okay, that would be great for the fort because you gotta have a fort.
Yes.
Earl. Ooh, I'm sorry, Earl. I don't know what to do with that, Earl. Like zombies.
You're taking my job. I'm the one who's gossiping about everyone, throwing Greg off. So that job is taken already.
Yeah, but these are really useful skills, right? I don't have any of that, but I think I'm willing to fight. Not think. I know. I'm willing to fight.
I think we gotta see this. I have to see it.
Okay. Well, we have more.
Okay.
So let's see. From Rich at Rich Flores, he says, not useful at all. I'll be hiding. I'm not even going to lie and say I'll fight the zombies. I'll be hiding. Which is sad because he is a healthcare worker and he is badly needed. So I'm thinking we need to protect him because
Yeah.
we'll need him.
Yeah, no, I would say, I'd be like, Rich, you should be hiding because you'll be on my team because you're a healthcare worker. I need you. Don't do anything. Don't hurt your pretty hands. Just get some damn gauze. Stat.
Okay, let's see. So Alfie from Alfie Clemente, she says, not too useful. I can survive for 5 minutes and die. I doubt that.
But what is she doing in that 5 minutes? Is she just like running
love
around
it.
like with her hands up in the air?
I love that. I love that response because it's just honest. Like, yo, eat me.
But I doubt it though because she's a mother,
Oh, yeah.
so she will fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She says she's gonna just die in 5 minutes. I doubt that. I think she can. I think she can fight.
Yeah, I need some mothers on my team because mothers
Yes.
they get crazy. They get helicopter
Yeah.
parents on you,
But
like
the thing is, you have to have their kids with you, or else who are they protecting?
me, mama. That's what I'll do.
So let's see. So the last one is from Choi of Pod Surfing at Puchoy Choi, which is like the cutest handle ever, right?
Pachoy Choy, what does Pachoy mean?
I think it's his nickname.
Oh, I like that nickname.
Yeah. So he has a new podcast that'll launch in like the coming weeks. So he says, I'm not sure if it's the photo or the question that terrifies me. I've watched World War Z and Kingdom on Netflix too many times to know that shooting/severing the heads does the trick. But if my fear takes over me, I think I die right away, which is the truth. Because me, I say I can fight, or I'm willing to fight, but if I get grossed out or I get too scared, it only takes one bite to finish me off, right?
Yeah.
So you have to conquer that fear.
Do you have a fear of zombies?
Yes, if there's too many of them. If it's one, I'll have the initial shock, but then I think I can manage.
I could see myself. This sounds horrible. Like if I saw a zombie like roar, slowly coming up to me. Do you remember? Okay, in Walking Dead, there was one character who uses zombies as pets to keep them away from the scent. Michonne. I would be her. I'd be like, put a leash there, and then have them like keep the zombies at bay.
Oh, I don't know if I can.
Is that horrible? Come on. I know you have some like leather like leashes. Come on.
Well, okay, but here's the thing though. If this really does happen, I think the first 2 days maybe you'll be wondering if is this really happening? Are they just crazy or something? Like they're on drugs? I don't think you'd initially think that they're zombies.
Bath salts. Remember that bath salt incident in Florida where the guy ate another guy? Like, no, he didn't eat. He just bit off someone's like
his face. He was tearing off the face or something like that.
Because of the bath salt drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment.
So I think that's what people would think. It's like, is he on drugs? Because I mean, they're not decomposing yet. They're fresh.
I mean, in your world, yeah, I think. I think in some worlds a zombie turns into a zombie. Like all of a sudden you get like your face doesn't, you get grayish. Your skin turns gray or something.
But I've never seen a corpse. I wouldn't know.
What would be your ideal weapon though? Because to me, a gun,
a baseball bat.
Yeah, I think a gun is. I mean, as long as you've been practicing your whole life and you have no aim,
you run out of
yeah.
Makes sounds too.
I mean, I would use. I will have both because gun is for living people. And the bat, but see, that's what I think about. I'm not just scared of the zombies. I have to watch out for the rest of you motherfuckers out there that's gonna try to do something else. So I have my.
But see,
gun.
you don't think about that initially because people are gonna try to work together initially until you run out of food, and then
Again, I'm already thinking about that, so that's why I will have a gun and either a lead pipe or like a baseball bat.
Okay.
But see, you have to have a weapon that you can run with that's not gonna like weigh you down, or climb a wall over, and you're not gonna drop it just easily, right? So I think a lead pipe it's good, yes, but it doesn't really have a handle.
Oh no, because then you could just tie a string and then put it like a sling, over your thing. Through the hole.
Right. Yeah, but the problem is if you get too much, blood or brain matter on it, it might get slippery.
No, but see, that's the key, that they won't smell you because they smell like just them. So that's what.
But that's
Greg
not
is,
a proven theory.
I just want to interrupt here. Do you guys know this isn't real, right? You guys are like...
If you say so, but I have a bat next to my bed, but okay.
Well, I have that Filipino baton thing next to my bed, but
But that's see, for different use, Greg, but okay.
Oh my God.
Like, if a zombie, you're going to be like, hold on, I have to, pull it out somewhere.
I think if someone gets into Greg's house, dildos will be flying.
Like a zombie's gonna be like, oh sorry, wrong house. And just back away.
You suck.
All right, what's the next question?
The next question is from Earl from Philippine Campfire Stories. The question is, I feel like I'm not happy with my job. What do you do to infuse interest in whatever you do for work?
I'm somewhat of a social person when I want to be. So it depends on my mood. But work-wise, I like working with people. I like team settings where you can bounce off ideas. So as long as I can somehow squeeze that into anything that I do, that kind of just changes my mood. Working with a team, bouncing off ideas, collaborating. That's like I find little projects here and there. Even with my work now, it's just like to kind of get people involved.
I agree with you. Because I work for the finance department for a hospital, right? There's no any kind of way to infuse any interest in that kind of line of work. I mean, looking at spreadsheets, that's not going to excite anyone.
It excites me. I love spreadsheets.
Oh my God. So the way I infuse interest is I make friends at work so that, it doesn't feel like I'm coming to work. It feels like I'm hanging out with friends while I'm doing work. And I'll take a break and we'll just chit chat for a little bit and then go back to work. And then, I have a very sunny disposition, so I'm liked by a lot of people.
Except from zombies.
Wait,
zombies
I was
just hate
drinking
you.
and I almost choked when he said he had a sunny disposition. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, he has a sunny disposition in Seattle or something.
No. Okay, at work, I really have a sunny disposition. Like, I'm very friendly and almost everyone likes me, right? They tell my boss this, so it's not like I'm making this up. And they find me easy to work with because I'm a people pleaser. Yeah, so that's how I infuse interest in what I do. Is I make friends and I have a personal connection with them, and makes my day go by quickly.
Yeah, so I think you're on the right track with the friends part, because that is a huge factor in your career. I also think there's it's all about really knowing what your needs are for yourself and seeing if this job is fulfilling those needs. If you feel like in your life that you need to work for a company that has the same mission as you do, whether it's a mission to, let's say at the hospital, like helping others some capacity, or is your mission about money? If your mission is about making money, then you should be at a job that pays you a lot and the goal is to make money, so something in finance. Or is it about like friendships that you are cultivating? I think everyone is suffering from this question at some point in their life about not being happy with their job. And I actually think it's a really good starting point. Like, because if you're not happy, that's actually really helpful information for you. Because then you ask yourself, why am I not happy at this job? Because maybe this job isn't right for you. And that's okay. Because then if you acknowledge that, then you could figure out a strategy to get out of the job to find something that you really love to do. My concern about this question is to infuse interest at your work. Are you just hiding the fact that you don't want to be at the job anymore? Is it because your supervisor has a different leadership style that doesn't connect with you? Because that's also another big factor. Is you could have a manager or supervisor that is a leader in their way but doesn't match the way you like to be led. A lot of people leave because of that, and a lot of people stay because of that.
Okay, let me just jump in because I had this exact situation years ago, right? I was very, very unhappy with my job, but I had a lot of friends at that work. But my boss's style of leading, and like you said, like my way of style that I like to be led, it didn't match. And the fact that I was doing 3 people's job all on my own was not gonna be sustainable, right? I was super stressed. I hated Fridays because Friday meant Monday was coming. I hated going to bed because going to bed meant I was gonna wake up the next day and go to work. I was in that situation, like it was really bad for my mental health, to the point that I told my mom, I said, I have to quit. I have to quit. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, if I don't quit, I don't know what's gonna happen to me, because I was in that mental space that I never wanted to be in. So I quit. I had no backup plan, but I felt like I just had to do this for my sanity, right? So I quit and I traveled for 3 months. And when I was in Colombia, I got a text from my old coworker, and she was like, hey, are you working? Because, they see on Instagram, I'm always somewhere new. So I said, not really. They were like, well, when you get back, when are you done? And I said, I'll be done traveling next week. It's like, when you're done, come in for an interview because we're looking for this position and that. So it worked out for me. It's not going to always work out, but for me, I got lucky and it worked out for me. But I felt like I had to do that because I was in a mental space that I it wasn't healthy.
I've worked with a few people that was in the same position as you, McCoy. And I've seen how the toll it takes when not at the right job. And the mental strain it has, but also leads to stress, which leads to the physical deterioration of your body. It's really sad to know that you didn't like Fridays.
Yeah, I hated Fridays.
That's crazy, and that's like a sign that this is not the right place for you. And I think that's really important that you got that information that's not the right place for you, and then you took action on it. But here's the thing too, is that it's also about choosing yourself. Like, how are you going to advocate for yourself? Because when you're in a job, they're not going to advocate for you. Like, all HR, human resources are great for companies, of course, right? But their main objective is to protect the company and not the employee. So if you think about it, even if you had a good company that has a good HR, they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for the company, and you have to advocate for yourself. And then figure out your game plan. I mean, sometimes it's like, I need to leave the company now because my mental health is deteriorating.
Yeah.
And life is way too short. And there's so many opportunities out there. There are a lot of jobs out there that's the right fit. So we put this question out there on social media and IG. McCoy, what are some of the responses that we got to this question?
So the first one is from Rich. He says, I advocate for every patient, give them my name to call me, and I memorize their names. I think that's very commendable that he makes it personal, so the patient feels like they have someone to go to.
It's almost, I think it's interesting that response, because it's really trying to find what works for you, and for example, in Rich, knowing the fact that if the patient knows his name, it helps encourage him to move forward, right? So it's almost like when you're in a bad situation, you have to figure out what are the stable grounds that help you survive a day at a time.
So the next answer we got is from Choi, and he says, my main interest right now is listening to podcasts. When I facilitate discussions and trainings, my conversation starters usually come from a quote or a story I've heard from a show I listen to. I just keep doing that, hoping that people would be interested to listen to the same shows. I've actually made friends online in real life because of the podcast and radio shows I've been listening to since 2009, and he gave the example of The Morning Rush. So I'm thinking he is probably a trainer, so this is how he breaks the ice.
I like that. I was just thinking right now about this made me think, like, recently what I did, because I have at my work it gets really busy on my end, but what I do every morning now is I make sure that I use Pomodoro, which is a timing app.
Oh.
So you work for 25 minutes and you have to take a 5-minute break. Then you work for 25 minutes to take a 5-minute break. And after like 4 of those sessions that you do, you take even a longer break. That works for me because, one, I get to focus on one thing on my job or one task at a time. But 2, the breaks, it's all about self-care. So you don't get stressed out or you don't get overwhelmed. And then I'll even do creative visualization breaks where I'll like turn on my computer for 5 minutes. I'll listen to some kind of podcast or some kind of like creative visualization, meaning which is I think about the future, where I want to go, like kind of reminding me the reasons why I'm at this job and what I'm doing. So then that way, when I start going back at work again, I have my mind's fresh and I just feel differently.
I don't do that.
You should try it.
No, I do take my breaks, and I listen to podcasts while I'm working. Unless I have to put out a fire, then I have to turn everything off so I can really concentrate.
Let me ask a question. Do you listen to podcasts to distract you, or do you listen to podcasts for some type of wellness?
It's not to distract me. Distraction is not the word. It's more to accompany me while I'm working. But I do turn it off if I have to deal with something really serious or heavy. I have to turn everything off and I just concentrate. But when it's just like, because working in finance in the hospital, it's a routine. It's monotonous. So you have to have something to accompany you or you'll get bored.
Well, let me ask you two this. What's one thing that you do so you guys don't get burnout?
Like day to day or like in general?
General or day to day? Because work that we do, it could be high stress, and it could be monotonous, and stressful, and you could burn out fast.
Well, before the pandemic, I'd fly somewhere for like a long weekend, but I don't do that anymore.
Oh, Kawawa.
I always take like 5 for myself. Like, so Greg was talking about like 25 minutes. They can take a quick break. I do it almost every hour. Wearing like an Apple Watch, it tells you it just did it right now. Every hour, it's like time to get up, asshole. So it's like I do that. I'm like, no, okay, I'm gonna stop whatever I'm doing. I'm like, I'll cap it to where like I know I can continue off of it, or my chain of thought is not broken, and I'll just get up. And either I'll tell everyone like I'm gonna go downstairs and I'll just loop around the building and come back up, just so I can really reset my mind. And then when I'm doing that, I'm actively not thinking about work. I'm not like, okay, this was a struggle I was doing. How am I going to solve it? Not even that. I'm just going to be like, okay, what am I doing this weekend? What am I going to doing? Like Greg, I was mentioning, like almost set up a goal for something for you to look forward to remind yourself, why am I here? What am I working towards? So like I do that even at home now. Amaro and I work right behind each other. And when he's starting to get busy and I'm like, okay, I can't take this, I'm getting distracted, I'll take the dogs out to pee really quick and then come back just to reset my brain and just like, okay, let me start all over again. So it is really about like taking care of yourself. If I understand sometimes you like your job, but it's just that sometimes there are days that are not going through. So I was assuming that's what Earl was like talking about. Like he just needed to like spice things up. So that's one like thing that you can do is like really make sure you step out and like do things for yourself.
Yeah, a breath of fresh air like outside does wonders.
Oh yeah.
If you're indoors all the time, does wonders. You're like, what?
McCoy's like, let me just look out the window. Oh, there's sick people.
I don't even have a window.
Oh, Kawawa.
If I had my old office before I left this job and then I came back after like years, I would have had a window, a sliding door even, to the garden. But no, unfortunately.
Damn. Going back to Earl's original question, he says, I feel like I'm not happy with my job. Yo, that's a tough place to be. Mm-hmm. I hope this helps Earl a little bit. And if it doesn't, ask us another question. And we'll break it down. McCoy, what's our next question?
Hold on, I'm chewing.
Please swallow your peanuts.
Okay, McCoy, chew and swallow your peanut. And then what's the next question?
Okay. So,
chew and swallow. What's the next question?
So the next question is from Francis. And it is, what is your biggest regret?
Oh. Woo. Oh.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question before we go into this one? Do you think, like this question, we've heard of this question before in random places in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's your biggest regret? Mm-hmm. Is the first, when you ask someone that, do you think, is this supposed to be like a simple question? It reads simple, but it's completely not, right?
Yeah, it's not, yeah. It's a few words, but it's really, really heavy and dangerous.
Okay, what is your biggest regret? That's 5 words in one sentence question. Mm-hmm. You really don't even have to say the other 4. You just say regret and you're just like, oh, fuck. You already know where it's leading to.
You're totally right, Steve. But all of us were like, oh.
It already has like a negative feel to it that, you know.
So let's see. You guys know I'm not motivated by money. I am more motivated by something that will make me happy or keep me happy.
Food
or love or things like that. You know, things that really matter, right? So with that being said, if I had to choose a regret, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but the first thing that pops in my mind is I didn't fight for the person that I love when I think that's all that they were asking for was for me to fight.
What do you mean fight? Like a zombie apocalypse kind of fight? Or is this like...
you know, like, I don't think this is working. And I think he wanted me to say, no, let's make it work, blah, blah, blah. And I just said, I let my anger and my pride get in the way and say, fine, then it's not. But I think what was needed was for me to say, let's take a break for a couple of days and let's revisit this issue. But because I was young and prideful, I was like, fine. And because the next day when we saw each other again, he was trying to hold my hand, and I said, you don't get to do that anymore. We're not together.
But that could have been your other chance again to be like, yes, I can, asshole, shut up. Like, you know.
I pushed him away because I was mad. I was like, how dare you do this to me? I was like very Mariah Carey breakdown, like that. Like,
I'm
I
trying
was
to
nonchalant. Nonchalant about it, but really I was,
And the thing is, that's what you were listening to probably at the time. So she fucking influenced you.
So yes, Mariah Carey ruined my love life. No,
Whoa, yo.
no,
Don't
I'm a big
blame
fan. I'm a big
Mariah.
fan. No, that was my pride. So yeah, if I had to name a regret, that would be it. Because if I had done things differently, who knows what would have happened? Maybe I'd be married right now, or maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? I wouldn't know anymore.
How about you, Dee? We're gonna come back to this. I think I have a few other questions for everyone, but Dee, what's your biggest regret?
I don't really have a specific one, but one thing that I don't like about myself, and whenever I do it, I do regret it, is I hesitate a lot. I hesitate a lot to the point where I miss out on opportunities or experiences. And I don't know sometimes how to, like you, McCoy, like I'm too stubborn to get to the point like I want to try to regain it or even change my mind in the middle and just jump back into it. So that's one thing that I have actively been working on, is within a reason, obviously, like not to say no. So
Okay, what specific incident happened that you're like, that really made you take notice of this?
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I can't.
But
She's not ready.
You're not ready yet?
Yeah,
That's okay.
that was a big thing.
But there was a moment, though. There was a moment in your life.
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple, and it goes in my head, and it's like that's the only reason I'm holding on to it. It's like, oh fuck, like I really held myself back from having fun or being a part of this thing, or even sometimes ruining someone else's thing. It's because I hesitated. Maybe looking stupid, or like being too like being too self-conscious, or maybe thinking like that's not who I am. So I've been working more ever since this one big thing that happened to just be like, you can't do that anymore.
Do you think that you would regret
You're right.
sharing your story, specifically what it is?
I will if I do.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah. Don't do regrets, D. Don't do it.
I get that though, because I have had some sexual encounters I said no to, but now I'm thinking I really should have said yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
But you can. Just go back to your DMs and you're like, hey, I'm open. Literally.
Yeah, just start scrolling.
The moment has passed.
No, I don't believe that.
Well, maybe another moment will come by.
On your
eventually,
face.
maybe. Oh, yeah, well.
Sorry. That was all uncalled
Actually, I don't-
for. It just
I was gonna
happens,
say-
like on your face.
But see, I was going to respond. I was like, no, let's not go there. Because I don't even like it on my face.
I like how you guys didn't see, but McCoy was doing like a swatting thing. Like he was swatting away from his face.
Like it was baho. He was like, oh, stinky. Oh, gosh. The biggest regret. Okay, so...
Wow, did it trigger you, Greg?
It is, because it's something I actually deal with on a daily basis. This one regret. So, let's go back. Let's just back up. Just a few years, like when I'm in my 20s.
You?
Yeah, just like, 1 or 2 years.
A few
in my
decades.
20s. Fuck you. So, all right, I'm just gonna put it out there because I don't tell anyone this. Mm-hmm. But so I was in my 20s. I think I was like just graduated from college, or was it right before I graduated from college? I was in a relationship. Mm-hmm. At the same time I was in a relationship, I was being mentored by someone in the film and television industry. And this mentorship was huge. And he was mentoring in the sense of we're talking about scripts. We'd meet up like every few weeks, talk about films and scripts and projects and my ideas. He was working on a big show. He was a writer producer on a very popular show back then. And simultaneously, I was in a very bad, abusive relationship. So, you know, when I saw this question, I was like, it takes me back to this moment, this not moment, like moments, like this period in my life where it was interesting because, you know, it was when I was just starting my career out in the film industry, and I got one of the biggest opportunities directly have access to some really big names in the industry, and they were liking my work. However, my relationship took a very dark turn. It got physical, it got mental, and it got emotionally abusive. And I remember this, I keep having these flashbacks of when one time I had lunch with my mentor talking about scripts. My ex followed me there to the restaurant in Hollywood. And so I had to introduce my mentor and my ex, my boyfriend at the time. And he noticed something was wrong. And fast forward, because of the relationship that I was in back then, it derailed my whole future in so many different aspects, not just career-wise, but also relationships. It changed my views on sex and intimacy. It changed everything, and it derailed me. And so why I deal with this almost on a daily basis is because my mentor, who I lost contact with, unfortunately, on a lot of shows I watch, whether it's on HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, his name will pop up as the executive producer. And every time I see it, it's almost like a quick little like snap. I get thrown back in time to my early 20s when this happened, as a reminder that the point where my life derailed. And it was really hard watching television because, you know, I would randomly watch a show. I'm like, oh, this is a really good show. And then I'll see my mentor's name pop up in the middle because he's the executive producer or writer on the show or creator on the show. And it get flashback. It's so interesting about regret is because all of a sudden in 1 second, you could be in 2021 year, right? And then in that 1 second when you start to feel regret, all of a sudden you flash back in time, and I see myself in my 20s. I'm always like, what the fuck? Like, how did this happen in 1 second? And then you have to look at this moment of regret, and all of a sudden 1 second later, you fast forward, you're like present day. And it keeps pulling me back in time. And it's completely so frustrating. Because I see regret, and I think you were talking about earlier, McCoy, about regret and how it's so much more. We're all talking about how it's this one question is so bigger than we would like to admit. Because I don't think people actually talk and break down regret. But for me, I always see like life is like you're walking on a beach, you know, and then when waves come in, it's like their emotions, whether it's, you know, whether you're angry, it's like a wave. It comes and goes. Even happiness, joy, it comes and goes. But when regret comes in as a wave, when you're just walking on the beach, it is like, it has so many different emotions. It has embarrassment. It has shame. It has guilt. It has anger. It has all those things like all into one. And when a wave comes in, it could just sweep you and take you out. And then I'm also, when I saw this question from Francis, I also look back and think about, I do know a handful of individuals who've taken their life because of regret. I've been to a number of funerals because individuals took their life because they regretted that they hurt somebody unintentionally. And this guilt or regret, this shame was too much for these individuals to handle. And they thought the best way to deal with regret is to take their life. And I think that a lot of individuals may be suffering from this. For me, I think in the past maybe 3 years, 4 years, I started practicing on how to train myself differently. Like when I get these flashbacks, when I see myself in 20s, I forgive myself for the past. This is how I'm going to move forward. This is my strategy, is I see myself and I forgive myself. Because I didn't know about relationships. No one taught me how to be in relationships. No one taught me what to do when you face trauma like this, right? No one taught me that as a man, when you face any kind of abuse, no one talks about abuse that males feel or have experienced and how to deal with those emotions. So I look back and I just forgive myself for all of that. I think it's a work in progress. I think now I could watch a lot of his shows now. I don't get those flashbacks anymore, or this overwhelming wave of guilt and shame of, oh, why didn't I just do this? Or why didn't I ask him for help? Like, I'm sure somewhere in a different dimension, like there's a me version that's like a multimillionaire, writing, directing the projects they want to do. And, I have to really honor who I am right now to deal with it and just say, okay, that happened. But in order to change regret, I have to look back and find something what I learned from it. Because what I realized with regret is that I was looking back and not learning from it. I was just witnessing all the emotions from it. Like, I wasn't learning about myself. I wasn't forgiving myself. So now I look back and said, okay, what I learned from this is that when opportunity's there, it's okay to take it.
Yeah, definitely.
And when an opportunity comes again, I'll definitely jump on it. And also, I think a really important lesson I learned from this regrettable period in my life was that relationships that you have, whether it's intimate or friendship, or even relationships with family, if they're not aligned with you and they don't respect your worth, they could derail your whole life. So it's so important to have relationships that are meaningful and, most importantly, healthy. Like, I never knew that. Like, I thought, like, love is love. You just get into it as long as they love you, right? But if it's unhealthy love, it could change the whole course of your life. So my question for you guys is, like, looking back, what have you learned?
I think what I learned is try not to dwell on the regret part of it and use that as motivation to propel yourself and to try not to miss out on things by being too scared about, being too shy or being too ashamed or being too scared of how will this make me look or whatever, because...
Well, how do you not dwell on it? Because I feel like, when the wave comes, right? Like, how do you handle this emotion?
Remembering it and thinking about it is different from living in it day to day. You know what I mean? So you can think of it. It can pop in your mind any time of the day, any time of the year. And that's perfectly normal. But you actually living in it day to day and all you can think about is the regret or what could have been, there's no point in doing that because you're going to hold yourself back from actually finding something amazing in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing with McCoy, like said, is you're allowed to think about it, but I think while you're thinking about it, the steps that I do whenever it pops back in my head is that, okay, I think about the specific scenario, what I felt at that time, how I didn't like how it made me feel after it, and what am I gonna do to change that so it doesn't happen again. But that last step is the key. So that way you don't dwell on it and it moves you forward to look forward to have another experience and know that you're not going to do the same mistake again. Everything that the three of us have mentioned, like, to me, regret is, yes, it happened, but we can do something else in the future that's going to change or make up to what we did at that time. McCoy can put that good energy into a new future relationship that he'll come across with. Greg, you can easily probably reach out to that same producer and be like, hey, you know what? I was in this point and it wasn't good, but hey, I want to work with you again. And door might be open again. I might be in the same position where, like, someone offered me to do something and I'm like, yeah, let me go say yes and, like, put all these embarrassments and, like, insecurities aside so I don't miss out on it. You know, that's the thing. It's like we always have these opportunities to do things again. It might not be the exact same thing, but if you look at it deeply, it's like, yes, it would have been the same thing. It's just however I, take on this responsibility this time. I really try not to hold on regrets.
Yeah, I think he's brought up some really good points that I think, just reflecting about my own experiences is about like I was looking back as regret. For me, I was looking back at it and thinking all those emotions and feelings, I started tying it to my future self or my present day self. Like, my meetings with like either executives or people in the industry, I would actually get that. I connected my experiences now to those horrible feelings I felt in the past during that time. Even though like my mentor had nothing to do with the bad stuff, but the emotions around it, I started associating with present day myself.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like that light switch should just be like, you're falling into that same hole again. What do you do not to do that again?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I hold on. And I always try to search, just like remind myself, nope, you're going to fall into that again. What is it that you should not do so you don't regret anything?
Yeah, regret's sucky. Regret is sucky.
I don't think it is. You have to have it. You have to have it. Because then if... like there's no way that you would live and just everything is happening the way you want it. Because then if it does happen, you're just like, fuck. Like, imagine if you've had your biggest regret in your 70s or 60s and 50s, where it's like you don't have the chance to make these corrections and re-experience these opportunities in a different way, and you're barely reaching that now. I think like I wouldn't know what to do.
I agree with the regret makes you appreciate what you have now and what you could have in the future.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see where you guys are going with that one. I mean, the only way to for me to not see it as regret is to take something from it, so that way I don't see it as regret. Because I think just what is regret exactly? Is wishing that moment in the past was different.
Yeah, wishing you could go back in time and redo it, and you'll do it differently or something.
Okay,
That's why I think regret sucks.
This is why. This is how whenever I used to get high, this is what I think of a lot: is life is yin and yang, meaning there's always two options for you to take, and that would resort to like two different outcomes. So regret to me is like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I should have done this other course. There's only two, but that action that you take splits into another two. But there's always two options for you to do. So if I go back to it, I'm like, oh, I did this. I didn't do this other option. So I know that when something else comes up, I only have one other option to take, which is the other one that I didn't take. So now when something else happens...
Like I did that didn't work out.
Yeah,
ain't gonna do that again,
right?
motherfucker.
Because it's like a yes
That's
or
me
no.
talking to myself.
Right? With McCoy's scenario, should he have done A or B? He should have fought or not fought. With you, should you have said something or you should have not said something? With me, if I have given in, or should I have just continued to hold back? There's always two. So we already know that we took that one path, right? Again, guys, this is whenever I'm fucking high as hell. I think about life is yin and yang.
Yes!
That's all I think about.
I like Heidi. Heidi.
No, you won't. Well, it has to be it can't be indica. It has to be sativa for me to run my brain. But yeah,
it's almost like I look back and I was like, oh fuck it, that happened. That was a fuckery. Oh wow.
Right, but
Moving
it
on.
was that one movement that you did. If you had just taken the other course, so now I walk about okay, well I have to do the other thing that I didn't do. Every time I do something I didn't like, it's because I didn't do the other one. And what is it about that other one that made me uncomfortable? Throw it out the window. Do it, because I know the last one that I did did not make me feel happy.
Yeah, it's almost like if you're gonna bring around regret, bring it in a different suitcase almost, right? Like don't bring regret around where it's like, oh, remember that you fuck up, da da da.
Yeah.
But bringing it around in a different suitcase, like, oh, okay, I learned from this, and I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah,
so
definitely,
that's interesting.
All right, McCoy. So what did we have from our IG story responses?
So let's see. The first one we have is from Rich. And he says, lunch yesterday. Got food poisoning from it. So that is a regret. And this is a reminder. People, wash your hands. Especially people that work with food. Wash your hands, please.
I mean, knock on wood, I've never had food poison. Again, knock on wood again.
No way.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't know it was that. Maybe you just thought like, I ate something bad, but really that's food
And it's
poisoning.
coming out my mouth and my ass.
Well, I do that by choice because I eat ice cream. So,
Oh.
see,
Wait a minute. So you're purposely giving yourself food poisoning?
well, when I want to
No,
when I
no,
want to
no.
lose like a couple of pounds, like I'm like,
Oh, God.
okay, that's great.
Good to know.
So let's see. The second one is from Alfie. And she says, not pursuing my passion.
Oh, that's a good
I don't think it's too
one.
late to pursue
Again,
anyone's
see,
passion.
that's the thing that I say. It's never too late. You can still do something about things.
Unless your passion is to stay in your 20s, which is impossible. That sounds so stupid.
That was stupid. I agree with you. No, we're gonna keep that one in.
It's the wine. I had like half a thing of...
McCoy has had half of the giant bottle of Lambrusco from like stock
Yeah.
stores.
No, it's not
Costco
Lambrusco. It's some
size.
kind of like semi-sweet mix. I don't even know. Some kind of Italian something. It's a Costco size, so I finished half of it. Oh, so the third one. Oh gosh. Okay. Is from Joy.
Wait, before we go on, not pursuing your passion, I think it's a lot of people have like or feel like that's a regret.
You know, the funny thing is, my passion is, I wanted to major in history.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And I'm very into history, right? And someone said, oh, what kind of job are you going to get with that? And completely squashed it out of my head, like to even desire it. So now
Why?
I just read up on stuff because I'm interested in it, but it's not something I feel like I can pursue anymore. But I just said earlier, it's not too late to pursue your passion, so I'm just like contradicting myself.
It's never too late.
Okay, fine. It's never too late It's never too late. You're right.
McCoy, also, the thing that sucks about that is that people don't realize that it's really not unconventional anymore for people to have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about side hustle where you're struggling and you're focusing on, like so many things at the same time. It's like you have your day job and you have something that makes you happy on the side. So you could probably be like, doing something else that would involve that passion of yours about history on the side. And then Alfie also can just, whatever her passion is, if it's something that she can do not full time, at least like
All right.
find a way to connect to it and just tap in at least just a string that I'm doing something that I actually like for myself and not to survive daily.
Well, I would also say I hate when people say, what kind of job can you get with that?
Yeah.
Like that's so fucking stupid. Like if you're interested in a major that you like, I always tell this to like people who are trying to find their major in college. It's like if you find a major that you like, go with it. Like don't be like, oh, what am I gonna do with this with my future self or German? Just go with it. If you're passionate about it, then major in it.
Let's also think about it. It exists in a college for a reason.
Exactly.
Why would they build an entire course syllabus around it if there's no one who's looking to hire someone that with that experience?
No, you're right.
And history is so powerful. Like knowing history is so powerful.
I mean, like you're right. You're right about the side hustle, and if anyone knows how to be a side hustle, so
Not that high side hustle, you
side
hoe.
chick, McCoy, side chick is different from a side hustle.
oh, not that. Oh, I'm sorry.
A side piece is different from a side hustle.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. All this time, I'm just like, oh yeah.
That's why I had to say something. Your eye just lit up. Yeah, I could be a side hustle. I was like, oh my god.
I don't think they have like even a community college course for a side chick. So no, that's not what
I
I
would have
meant.
majored as a side chick. Or a side boy.
So let's see. Moving on. The third one is from Choi, and he says, "I trust too easily."
Is that a regret?
So it sounds like, well, there might be a lot of pain in that statement.
Yeah.
It's like you got hurt, so because you trust easily and you regret trusting this
What?
person that hurt you.
That sucks though, because I mean, for Choi, what I can advise is, like send me your full name, date of birth, and social security, and I can help you. Like it's an easy thing to fix, right?
No,
Oh,
no, do not. Choi, hoi, hoi, Choi, do not send your information. I was thinking about like trust. I trust too easily.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think, a positive.
Yes.
I do, because not that many people sometimes open themselves up to it. And yes,
Yeah.
you will get hurt, and that's just part of it. But I hope Troy doesn't regret trusting, because you learn from it as well too. Like,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
gather information from it, but that's your strength.
I think like the three of us can speak for it, but a wall is so much harder to break down than a trust that is not there.
Damn, you were deep. You were so deep. Say it one
I'm
more
not
time.
high right now.
Wait,
though.
say that
Though.
again?
Like I mean, a wall that you built is so much harder to break down than having trust. Like it's once you've built that wall, you're gonna be like, I don't know how to let go. How can I trust someone else?
Therapy.
Like,
then you got to spend like a shitload of money on therapy.
yes, trust me.
Well,
That's
sometimes they just say the
expensive.
right things and you open the gate for them, and then now they're behind the walls, and then they can just fuck you over. Oh, wow.
Wow. I'm sorry. Did that just
Again,
come out?
A
Like, whoa.
wall is so much harder to break down once it's up there.
As an example.
No, but in all honesty, yes, Greg, you're right. Trusting, knowing how to trust people is absolutely an asset, but you have to know how to set your boundaries to protect yourself also.
Yeah, that is true.
But yes, don't lose that, because that's important.
And again, you're gonna be missing out on opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
What I think what it is more is pinpointing, walking away. What is it from the last time that you didn't like? How were you screwed over by someone? And then like finding those traits in the next ones, but don't completely close off yourself, because you're missing out on opportunities.
That's interesting. Like, regret is really about about future opportunities.
I think every time something happens to you, you have to take time to really reflect on it. Don't just shove it aside or really dwell on it. It has to be a productive action that you take whenever something happens to you. Really sit on it and not like that.
You can't, D. Listen, you're talking to two other gay
know,
guys. You can't just say, yo, sit on it. You can't do that. It don't work. We're gonna giggle. D was trying to be all deep, and then you sit on it.
Okay, you have to reflect. There you go. Really just reflect
Yeah,
on things.
reflect. Don't sit on it yet.
That's how McCoy gets in trouble. He likes to sit on it.
I do. Oh wow.
Oh my gosh. D, is there anything else? D, you're so
No,
deep.
no, no.
Like, I feel like I don't know what happened. You got like
Again, I'm not high right now.
you went quarantining, and all of a sudden you came back as like a monk or something. Like,
Well, I have been meditating a lot, so
There
that's
you
what
go.
that was.
Thank you, Grace and Mimai of Wakang Lilingon, Francis, and also Earl from Philippine Campfire Stories for your queries, and also the people that turn in their answers. Let us know how you would answer these questions yourself. We want to hear your answers, and we'll read them on a future episode.
that's our episode. If you'd like to leave a comment and have a question for us, we will respond. You can reach us at
On social media, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and CuriousCat at GamChat Podcast.
Email us your questions at gamchatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can also leave us a voice message on anchor.fm/gamchatpodcast. Also, don't forget to rate us on Apple Podcasts. We want to hear from you on how you think we're doing. Also, I want to see some 5 stars.
where? You want to say, oh, when they rate us? Like, they say 5
Yes.
stars. He wants to see some 5 stars, everybody. You better rate us. And we'll catch you on the next one. 5 stars! 5 stars!